Hey, what's up guys? I am your bearded dynamo here again with yet another video for you. Now today we are talking about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch. You might have noticed the castle behind me, which pales in comparison to my all-time favorite castle. That is, yes, that castle. That is the Castle of Hyrule. So why don't we go ahead and take a trip into the game. That's right guys, I am your bearded dynamo. Today we are talking about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this is one of my all-time favorite games, and I hope it's one of yours too. So we're going to talk about more on the beginner side of things. The DLC will be talked about in a separate video, so if you guys feel like you'd like to know that, go ahead and like and subscribe. Comments, always welcome. I will respond to any comments that are put down there. Now, if you want to be able to keep on track with everything we do, the bell icon will let you know anytime we post a new video. So, without further ado, let's take a trip to Hyrule. Alright guys, this is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this was a release title, March of 2017, and I gotta tell you, this is still one of the best games that one can play. Still one of the best games that I will ever recommend, and still one of those games that no matter what is always fun to play.
Open your eyes.
Now this was actually my very first game on the Nintendo Switch. The copy you're seeing me playing right now, this is actually my collector's edition copy. No, I didn't get the cool sword stand. However, I did get the map and the coin, and the special box. Now, for all new players, Link has been sleeping, and in the time of need in Hyrule, he wakes up and he begins anew. Now, in this version of the game, your shields, your bows, your swords, sticks, spears, pretty much any weapon you get, everything has durability except for your clothing, which will give some stat bonuses, but we'll get into that in a minute. But no, every weapon in the world, every bow, every shield has durability. Now, some might think, well, that just doesn't sound very fun. Well, let me tell you what. It always keeps you on your toes. It always keeps you going. It always keeps you hunting. Not only are weapons, gear, swords, shields, bows, these kind of things on your scope for what you're looking for, but depending on what you want to do will also play a huge part in how you play. Now, you can find mushrooms, which you can then eat, regain hearts. You're not going to find hearts just plopping out of the grass like in other games. You will need to eat food, drink potions, but in this game they are called tonics. And you will have the ability to make those. Those are made from monster parts. Not only that, you can also mine ore, things like flint, ruby, diamond, stuff like that. You can also harvest wood, and with that wood, you can use flint and strike a fire. Now, one of the things I want to reference, now that I've said that, is unless it's raining. Now, a lot of people are thinking, what do you mean if it's raining? Now, yes, this game does work on semi-real world physics. Now, if I shoot an arrow and it's on fire and it hits the grass, let's say it hits the grass in a valley, and there are enemies at the end of the valley, that fire is going to be blown through the grass to the enemy on the other side.
That will show
and
you
it works in your favor, and it also works against you. Like, for example, if you're carrying a metal weapon in a lightning storm. That is one quick way to become a Link-sized Christmas tree, equipped with all the bells and whistles, because you will glow. Now, it can kill you. In most cases, if you have the hearts, you just get really badly damaged. What we're seeing here, this is the introduction. Link has just managed to find his way out of the Shrine of Resurrection, so bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys enjoy this coming up here. It is one of my favorite scenes, and I will pick up shortly.
Our light. that must shine upon Hyrule once again. Now go.
And we're back. We got a nice look over the Great Plateau. A very, very, very large area, but doesn't really cover that much of the map. Now, I want to emphasize that. This map is huge. If I remember correctly, they said the map for this was larger. I want to say it was Witcher 2. I believe this map was larger than the map in Witcher 2. Now that is fantastic because the map in Witcher 2 was giant. This one, however, is larger. Now you'll see I am running what's considered to be a new game. Just to kind of show you guys the intro, I did collect some mushrooms, got some sticks, and here's an idea of how physics work in the game. Rock rolls, hits curve, rolls, and drops. It's a nice little system. And like I said, everything has durability. So attack with the stick, and the stick then breaks. So of course, if you have a particular weapon, you may lose it because it may run out of durability. And to my knowledge, there's not really a whole lot of just basic play ways that you can amp that back up. Now here shortly we're going to go ahead and we're going to cycle out of the new game file, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some of the stuff that I've got in my primary game. Now granted, I've deleted, reset, replayed more times than I can count. Again, this is one of my favorite games, and so I do play it fairly regularly. Now what we've got here is the Temple of Time. Anybody who played Ocarina of Time on the 64 will remember the Temple of Time. And our big buddy there during the 64 days, Rauru. Now here we've got my character. He's got all of the runes. You can control magnetic objects, metal objects. You can create ice pillars in the water. You can create remote bombs that can then be detonated via a button click. The one I did not show is called Stasis. It allows you to freeze an enemy in place momentarily. Now it doesn't just work on them, it also works on enemies and objects. Now those objects, any objects that you stasis and then strike, you will be able to shoot them once they unfreeze a ridiculous amount of distance. It's pretty cool. Here's a Korok. You'll need those guys. They're randomly scattered. I believe there are 900 of them, and you'll need them in order to increase bag space. Bag space is very, very, very important. Some of you might point out or might notice that I've got pluses next to some of my abilities or my little symbols there on the left. Those are part of the expansion pass. Now the expansion pass I'm not going to be going over right now. We will have a video coming up very, very soon that will cover both of the DLC expansions for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You may notice that I have quite a few more hearts than I started with. My main file, I do have more than enough to wield, as people have probably noticed, the Master Sword. And we're taking a trip. I wanted to kind of show you guys around some of the different areas a little bit. Now, of course, weather plays a huge part. If rock is wet, you can't climb. You'll slip and slide and have a heck of a time getting up there. Now, also, if an area is very cold, you could start suffering damage from the cold. You'll need equipment and gear or tonics that give you resistance to that temperature. Either it's cold resistance or heat resistance. Now, anybody who's played Legend of Zelda and knows that the Gorons are in the game will have a very, very good idea of what I mean when I say both hot and cold. The desert, it does get very hot. However, nothing gets quite as hot as the mountains in the Elden region, Death Mountain. Now, Death Mountain, you will also have the option. All of these areas have gear that you can get, whether it be armor, headpiece, chest piece, leg piece, that sort of setup. And then, of course, the game does also include gear upgrades, which allow you to make those more powerful, and in some cases, completely remove a damaging effect that you've been dealing with, whether it be overly hot, overly cold. Any body of water, as long as it's actually water, can be swam in. You do have a stamina bar. That stamina bar does run out. Now, if you are swimming when it runs out, you will die. Now, here we've got Death Mountain. This is one of the great divine beasts. You might have noticed I also changed clothes, tried to be a little more traditional. Now, I was on fire. That does happen. Unfortunately, in the mountain region with the lava, it happens a lot, and you'll see Link here suffering from just a little bit of cold. So let's go ahead and get out of there. Now, the last place I want to show you guys is one of my favorite places. This is the Korok Forest, and not to spoil anything, but this is also a place where you can find the Master Sword, the Sword of Legend, the Sword of Evil's Bane. So I want to thank you guys for checking this out, checking into my review, and I'll see you guys again shortly here, and we'll go ahead and finish this up. You guys have a great one.
Welcome back, guys. That was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch. Wow! One of my all-time favorites, again, will always be. Did cover a lot of that beginning stuff. Did also cover some of the what you can do, what you can become. One thing I forgot to mention was you can also tame horses. Each horse is a little bit different based on how hard it is to tame. So take a look, try your luck. Who knows? You might find something rare and exotic. But thank you for tuning in. Same beard time, same beard channel. I am your bearded dynamo with the content you crave.